Let's now go to Liberal MP Julian Leeser joining us live in Sydney. Good to speak to you, Julian. First up, I want to ask you about your neighbour in the neighbouring electorate has just announced that he's not contesting the next election. Does this take you by surprise? He's the leader of opposition business, for crying out loud.
Well, Chris, I regard Paul Fletcher as my big brother in politics. He's been a great friend to me, a great colleague. He's served our party, our local community, and also the country with great distinction over the period he's been Minister. I've worked hard with him on improving telco in my electorate. We've worked very hard in relation to improving traffic in the area, and he was very much responsible for the delivery of North Connects, which has taken 6,000 trucks off Pennant Hills Road. He's had a wonderful career, and it's his right to determine when he goes.
It sure is. He's one of the leading moderates, though, like Simon Birmingham. So you've got two frontbenchers, leading moderates, bailing out at this election. It doesn't look good for the coalition. It suggests that they don't think that you're going to win the election.
I don't believe it suggests that at all, Chris. I think Simon Birmingham and Paul Fletcher wouldn't be going if they thought we had a fight on our hands at the moment. Paul Fletcher's never run away from a fight. When he first got elected, he faced a difficult by-election in difficult circumstances. I think the fact that he's going in is an indication of the fact that he's confident that we will retain his seat and that we've got a good chance of coming to government under Peter Dutton. And frankly, we need to come to government under Peter Dutton because every Australian is worse off than they were 3 years ago, whether it's the cost of energy, the cost of groceries, the cost of fuel, or the terrible lawlessness that we're seeing all across the country today. Australia needs a government led by Peter Dutton to restore the sort of way of life that we've experienced previously and get the country back on track.
Now, last week on this program, you were very strong against Labor and its frontbenchers in Mark Dreyfus and Richard Marles when it comes to what's happening with Israel and anti-Semitism at home. You must have been shocked by the response to the synagogue fire in Melbourne on Friday. I just want to show you some pictures now of a protest we showed yesterday. It was in the streets of London on Sunday, where 30,000 or more people protested against anti-Semitism, supporting Israel and protesting against this kind of hatred. We had a similar rally in Sydney. It's way back in February now, but a lot of people gathered at the Domain in Sydney to express solidarity with the Jewish community. You were there. I bumped into you there, and others spoke there. Do we need to see more of this? Because it's the noisy extremists, the haters of Israel we see all the time. Do we need to see more public expressions of solidarity with Jewish Australians?
Well, Chris, I think this is a wonderful country, and I know the vast majority of Australians are very firmly with the Jewish community, and what they're seeing in Australia today doesn't represent the Australia that they want or that they recognise, and they see a government that has sat on its hands. And I know this is the view of the majority of Australians because this is a very busy time of year. I'm going to lots of school presentations, going to lots of Christmas carols. Even when I'm interstate or just going around the streets, people stop me all the time and saying, thank you for standing up against this dreadful anti-Semitism. This is not what our country's about. We don't like it, and we're with you and we're with the Jewish community at this time. And that is overwhelmingly the sentiment that I'm seeing. So I want to applaud the people who are involved in organisations like Never Again Is Now for the many rallies that they've had across the country. I was honoured to speak at the rally in Sydney. I'd love to speak again for them. And I know there are many decent Australians who are looking for ways to show solidarity. Let me suggest one thing that people can do. Christmas and Hanukkah fall on exactly the same day this year. It's for the first time that I can remember in a long time. I want to encourage people to put a candle in their window at Christmas time, a candle to celebrate Hanukkah with Jewish Australians. They don't have to have a Hanukkah, but if they put a candle in their window, in their Christmas window, it's a way of showing solidarity. I think that's a small thing that people can do. But I know Australians are very much with the Jewish community, as they're with other communities that face unfair treatment from time to time, because that's the Australian way.
I do think you're right, Julian Leeser. Thanks so much for joining us. I appreciate it. And happy Hanukkah and Christmas season to you, Julian Leeser there. I think he's right when he talks about the overwhelming majority of the Australian community supporting the Israeli community here and hating the sort of division we're seeing. But it's good to show it every now and then. I show it with this badge because of the hostages, but a candle for Hanukkah as well as Christmas this season. You've heard that idea. Let's hope people reflect that in their own neighbourhoods.